Willie, can I get a what's up and good morning? No? But okay, I get a kiss on the cheek. Thanks, buddy. What's up and good morning, guys? Welcome back to another video. Willie didn't really want to cooperate with our intro here, but starting up on the roof of the old Rhino Ranch, we got the homie Brandon out here. What's up, buddy? A lot of you guys always mention, and every time the power goes out and all kinds of crazy stuff happens, like, Rhino, you need solar panels. Well, I have clearly a bunch of solar panels. Don't have the battery backup yet, but we got a ton of solar panels. But these things have never been cleaned since I've lived here, which is probably no surprise to you guys because you know the maintenance on my truck. But these things have been through gnarly fire, giant freaking dust storms, windstorms, and all that stuff. And well, you can kind of see the difference there. Those bad boys are just caked on with dust and dirt versus this beautiful cleaning job that Brandon's doing. Now, the reason I'm up here and the reason I wanted to like start up here is you guys know I'm all about business, I'm all about small business, and I'm all about the homies starting their own business. I have hundreds of people a month come to me with business ideas, and like less than 1% of them actually follow through. And well, Brandon not only followed through, he followed through in like record time. So he came up with the concept of solar panel cleaning. I mean, it's not a new concept, but he came up with this is what he wants to do, and he wants to start a business. So within like, what, less than a month, I would say?
No, it's been about 6 months or so in the making.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, maybe I've known about it for a month.
Keep it to myself.
There you go.
Don't let people know what I'm doing. Keep them guessing.
So Brandon went out, I mean, fully licensed, fully insured, real LLC, like everything's legit. Basically, you just, okay, we've been going for 6 months. We just got to start, what, not that long ago, right?
Last week.
Last week, there you go. So, you know, you always got to support the homie. So he's out here showing me what he can do. And clearly you guys can see the freaking amazing difference on the solar panels there. But I always like to promote this type of stuff because hopefully it inspires you guys out there that have an idea, whether it be big, whether it be small, whether it be something that takes $1 million investment or something that really doesn't take that big of an investment at all, which, you know, I don't know exactly what Brandon's into this whole investment, but it can't be a whole lot, and he's already up and running. The business is going, and obviously as he makes more money, he can expand and grow. And currently he's got a trailer, but he was over at the shop the other day using the welder. Again, huge shout out to the guys over at West Air. That Miller welder is awesome. Built him a little rack right there in the truck so he can run his PureTech deionized tank, which is the same tanks we're running at the warehouse. That way you get no water spots or anything like that on the solar panels. If you guys are local, hit him up, Solar Solutions SD. Let's get Brandon some work, keep him going, keep him busy, keep him up on rooftops. Always fun, always fun. Commercial,
Residential, we do it all.
There you go.
Home detailing, window washing, we do it all.
So I'm on my way right now to an automotive paint store. Hopefully they have what we need. This is like a completely different world to me, so I'm sure I'm gonna buy the wrong paint and y'all are gonna freak out, but we're just gonna have to trust what they tell me because I have no idea about anything in the automotive paint world. I think we wanna get a sealer primer, and then we'll reveal the color that we're gonna be going and the cool factor we're gonna be doing with that. Let's go see what kind of mess we can get into here. We're already breaking the rules. Did I lock that? Bad neighborhood, bad neighborhood. Oh, we good, we good. All right, look at that. Back in only.
We do what we want.
Let's see what we got. The old Finish Master. Trying to support a smaller shop, you know? Little mom and pop. Maybe not. Maybe they're bigger. I don't know. Okay, apparently we stay locked out. Okay, yeah. I'm not trying to match anything. It's all... They gave me a book of like stock colors for vehicles. We're going more in the custom world, but there's actually something, where did it go? That's not that far off. It's like a Range Rover purple. Not seeing it here. I need like that, but in purple. Let's see.
Yeah, because that's a bigger swatch, and I would do it against the white because then here it looks a different color.
Yeah. Do we have like a purpley-er? See how that's kind of like a little magenta in it? Yeah, but we're going in the right world there. So we're gonna go crazy with it here. We're gonna throw the snow cone flake over top. All right, well, after going through the colors there, I think we found the one that's gonna work, but unfortunately the guys that mix all the colors and can give me the quote and all that aren't here, and they're gonna be back in like 40 minutes. So we're gonna run to our shop for a little bit, then we're gonna wait for them to call us, then we're gonna come back, and hopefully we get us some paint today. But I'm pretty excited that we got a color pretty dang close to what I think's gonna work. Now, while we wait for them to call me, if they actually do call me, knowing my luck, they're gonna be like, yeah, and just toss the post-it note with my phone number, and we're never gonna end up getting a phone call on that paint. But we gotta actually get serious now about getting this thing fully prepped for paint. Obviously, we've already done the body work for the most part here. Everything is just nice and smoothed out. The whole counterweight is all bondoed. We got all of our body lines back to nice and crisp lines instead of big old chewed up chunks that were missing from them. But if we're gonna do this thing, we gotta like be able to get everywhere with the paint. So we've got these tread plates right here that need to come off. This center seat section either needs to just lift up or come off. I'm still not exactly sure how that thing comes off. We're gonna figure that out in a second. Then we gotta figure out what we're doing here. And if you guys are watching this, you probably noticed it's a little dirty in there. And I jumped the gun a little bit, which I tend to do in these videos. And I started doing all the body work and all the Bondo stuff before like I got into areas like this to degrease them. Granted, these are like very, very clean and they're not super greasy and it's mostly just dust. So I'm gonna get in there as best I can with like a little scrub brush. Because obviously I don't wanna like pressure wash this thing now that there's Bondo, because the Bondo is very porous. The water can get behind the Bondo. If it doesn't dry out all the way and you spray it, now you got water sitting back there and bad things happen. We don't want that. Unfortunately, this is as far forward as the mast goes, so we're gonna be kind of just getting where we can get, which is gonna make it real interesting when it comes time to paint all this. And I honestly wouldn't mind painting all this inside stuff here black just to make it disappear, and it'll always be like clean looking instead of, you know, clearly that orange right there used to be nice and bright, but it is covered in dirt and grime. Then also, I don't know who painted this, but this is like a giant pet peeve of mine. Like, you have a perfect area right there to like differentiate your two colors, but you decided to go like the extra mile and tape off part of the rollover protection here. We'll get this old girl moved up closer to my toolbox over there because we're too lazy to walk 20 feet. For a forklift that was like destined to be scrapped, this thing runs awesome. All right, we'll call it good right there. Park and brake. We'll grab the Milwaukee Impact. Oh, got a little reach there now. The 12-volt batteries. And if we had to guess, that looks like we're gonna go 13. All right, oof, that is gonna be fun to clean without like jacking up our Bondo work there. Should have done this first, guys. Definitely made a mistake there. Now we're gonna do our best to be more organized than I normally am when I tear stuff down. And I'm also contemplating painting underneath these black. I don't think there's any point in getting crazy with the color up underneath there. I think black will look good, especially because again, all the dirt off of your shoes and stuff gets stuck in there. And then we should send these off to our buddies over at Swift and have them powder coat these. All right, we better just go grab the vacuum. Get the old Milwaukee handheld vacuum here. See if we can clean this up. Yeah, that's like years of caked on crap. I tell you guys, there's certain things in the shop that always go missing. One of which is the wire brush. So I got my broom here that'll make most people's abuelitas proud. And a little flathead screwdriver. And let's just see what kind of damage we can get done here. But I think we should be able to get most of it off this way. We'll use this blown out pad here, that way it's not too aggressive. I mean, we got the dirt out and prepped it for paint in one step there. Spray a little degreaser on there. We'll just let that sit for a second. Let's see how easy this wipes up, or not very easy at all. Maybe that's just chewed up. I don't know. Oh, that stuff is stubborn. This degreaser kind of sucks. You gotta work it in there. Could really go for a wire brush right now. Oh well. Someone tells me this sludge is just gonna sit in certain areas and make it a pain in the butt for the paint to stick. Get the screwdriver in there so we can dig some more out. Well, ended up hitting it with some sandpaper. That was the only way to really get the rest of that grime off. Gonna give it a quick little acetone bath here. That way this section's essentially done. Good thing is you barely see any of this through the tread plate itself, so we don't gotta get too crazy over here and spend all day getting this little section dialed in. Part of me wants to try to bend that back out, but that is pretty thick. It's like, it's not quite 1/4 inch, but I don't know if we'd get that to bend. I'm gonna grab a crescent wrench and see if we can pull that back out. Not exactly as big as I was hoping to find, but I don't know where my big ones are. I think they're in the single cab. I mean, kind of feels like it's coming. Or we're breaking the crescent wrench. Something's happening. I mean, she's coming, but I can't get the right angle on her with this tire in the way, so we might have to pull this tire off later and get us a better angle. The tires are gonna have to come off anyways to be able to paint back up in there. Regardless though, I think we consider this side done. Let's jump to the other side. Now I think on this side, we're gonna opt to not use the degreaser because that kind of made stuff greasy. It almost had like a WD-40 film on it. So we're gonna go dry over here. We'll use some sandpaper, our vacuum, our screwdriver, see if we can achieve the same result or better. This one's got some extra dirt on her. Some old dried up gum or something. All right, we got this side dialed in. Now I gotta get these trim pieces off. They just showed up today. I don't have time to run over to Toyota to get them, so we'll grab those in the morning. I believe from the guys I talked to over at Toyota, you just pull these plugs out, which these plugs didn't survive. And I didn't realize they were that bad, so I didn't order new ones. So these will be on the list of things to order, but I think we just pull these out. There we go. And there is a bolt right there. Now, is Toyota cool enough to make that the same size? And look at that, they are. Thank you, Toyota. Hold on, I think these things just slide up. Maybe not. Probably gonna have to pull this seat up. I don't know how this thing lifts up. Like, this is not my world. I did find a bunch of mechanical pencils right now though, that's cool. If I were this seat, like it wants to come up, but there's clearly a lock somewhere on this thing. Feels like it's right here. That's obviously to adjust the seat. All right, shout out to Aviation Lover on YouTube here. Appreciate it, just showed me how to do this. So we move the tank out the way. We'll move the seat all the way forward. And then apparently it's this lever right here on the steering wheel that, there you go, releases the freaking seat. Well, that was easy. Now how do we get this to stay up? There we go. All right, well, now we can clean this whole edge up. And then, oh geez, well, there's apparently 2 more bolts on there on each side, so we'll pull those off. Get those 2 side covers off. Oh, we're gonna need an extension. All right. Like, it's such a useless panel. This thing looks better without it. I don't know what Toyota was thinking by putting in this stupid little sheet metal panel to get chewed up. We're gonna put all of our hardware back here though, so we don't lose it. Because if y'all know me, you know I will lose these very quickly. Now the plastic cap on this side's actually, it looks like it's in halfway decent condition. Granted, all of these lived outside, so they've all pretty much seen the sun and are just brittle. But we'll use a little body tool here and see if we can't get her off in one piece. Maybe. All right, I'll take that. Don't drop it. Nice. All right, side cover 2 off. This one looks like it kind of maybe might serve a purpose. Now I don't know my grand total, but I believe we're looking at almost $400 right there. This does give us a better look here at how the rollover protection comes off. I'm assuming, I don't really know how this comes off. It looks like it's all, it looks like it's welded on. Oh, no, hold on. There's a couple bolts back there, all right. This piece is welded to the frame. This piece is bolted on from the backside here. There's 2 bolts there. And then I'm sure you got to get rid of this whole dash assembly somehow because it's probably all attached. This one's not gonna be fun. But might as well get to some sand in here since we got her opened up. Now we're obviously not doing any real body work right here. We just want to scuff it up so the primer and the paint and everything will grab. Now I was kind of sanding over here and I realized like this panel is super loose and pretty much ready to come out. And it turns out, I believe there's a couple of missing bolts. I don't know if you guys can see that little hole right there. It's supposed to be a bolt that goes up through here, and then there's another one that's supposed to go in from the front. But I don't really think it affects anything without them being in there. But I'm gonna try and remove this panel by removing this panel, which looks like it's just that bolt right there. Let's see if she comes out now. It's actually gonna make life a lot easier. I wish I would have known that a minute ago because it makes it a lot easier to clean. I can actually degrease and pressure wash it now off of the forklift. And then this booger, they finally switched up hardware on us here. Toyota, you were doing so good with everything being the same hardware. I like that, but we're gonna have to undo that booger. At least they made it like a Phillips if you really want to go that route. Let's get this piece off and see if this whole panel will come out now. There we go. Whew. Making some progress. We can probably straighten that thing out now too. It actually gives us better access to that piece too. I wonder if I can get a sledge in there real quick and just knock that back. Everything in the back right here ain't that important. You're not gonna see those panels that are orange. We'll do all that, just something black, rattle can or something. I can see why a lot of these don't make it back in. There's one right there that you can't get to. See if taking this one out here will get us access. Actually, kind of does. All right. Just grab a 10 mil and we'll get that one off. All right, y'all, things are coming apart pretty easily here. I still got to give Toyota credit, even though like we're on 2 bolt sizes here. It's kind of what I'm seeing. Like all these clamps, everything's a 10 mil. Everything seems to be like they kept it in the same world. These bolts are all the same size as the ones that pull off these body panels, so shout out to Toyota for that one. Regardless though, I found a ton of grease and dirt and stuff that really does need to come out, but again, I can't risk it getting on the Bondo. So we're gonna get a little creative with this, and granted, you're never gonna see any of this once these panels are back on. I'm also gonna take these boogers out and just spray them with degreaser and pressure wash them now that they're off, and we can. And then, yeah, we'll take care of some of that rust and stuff on there once everything's off. Well, I started out gung-ho on getting this thing like just completely clean top to bottom, but getting in these areas right here, there's just so much grime. And since I screwed up and bonded it so I can't pressure wash it anymore, it's gonna be next to impossible to get a lot of this stuff out. So I've got her about as clean as she's gonna get. The good news is you're not gonna see any of this, any of this, any of this once those exterior panels are on, which are back here. Even though the front sides of these were already sanded and prepped, the back sides had some grease and grime on them. So I degreased all these and I was able to pressure wash all of those. So those are sitting there drying. And then we gotta wait for this to dry. I went ahead and used some acetone, got all the degreaser off. Degreaser's like, I got a love-hate relationship with degreaser right now, because yeah, it cuts through the grease, but then it just like smears the grease everywhere. Then you got this like oily film that you're chasing. So everything's been acetoned off to get that oily film off. I sanded all the stuff that's gonna actually be seen and painted, and then I went ahead and acetoned it again. So all of that's pretty much ready for paint that of the stuff that you're gonna see, but I wanna make sure everything dries. I know in some of those bolt holes there's still a little bit of degreaser, so I'm gonna wait till that dries and I'll get in there with sandpaper and a little rag and I'll clean all those out. What I think I'm gonna do on this front section here is I might match whatever we're gonna do on the actual ROPS here, I'm gonna do on this section, or match these 2 panels. That way we're not trying to get our crazy custom paint job like in this tight area and it ends up running and looking like crap. Unfortunately though, the paint shop that we went to was supposed to call me within like 40 minutes of me leaving. We are now at 5 hours later. Still no phone call, they're closed. I like totally slipped my mind to even call them while I was busy doing this. So it looks like in the morning, we're gonna go pay them another visit. Also, I know we are currently giving away my 2005 Silverado 2500 HD, and I am very thankful for all of you guys that have entered so far. And I wanted to let you guys know we are actively, daily restocking designs on the website. I know you guys like sold that website out in 36 hours, but we're constantly restocking and constantly restocking. So please keep checking back. We just currently got our Skull Snapback hoodies in stock. By the time this video goes live, we'll have all of our key tags in stock, as well as probably another hoodie design or 2 and a couple shirt designs. So thank you to everybody that has entered. The best of luck to all of you guys. You guys are freaking awesome, and I cannot wait to see which one of you guys wins my 2005 Silverado. All right, y'all, welcome back to the next day, and I just made a bunch of purchases right there, and you guys aren't gonna hear me say this much on the channel because it doesn't happen very often. But at this point, I think it's safe to say I fully regret getting this far into what we're doing here. Not so much regret painting this thing, but regret the way that we're going about doing it to like the high-end nth scale that we probably shouldn't be. I probably should have done what everybody else does and just go buy the Toyota orange, you know, and just spray a coat of orange over this thing. And same with the gray. But you guys know me, and I gotta go too far. And normally too far is like, whatever, but we had fun doing it. But this one kind of hurts. And I don't talk about money a lot on this channel because like, there's just no point. I don't ever want to be like, oh yeah, like I'm spending all this money. And honestly, the only time I talk about money is when I think something's like absurdly expensive. And well, welcome to something absurdly expensive. Parts right here from our friends over at Toyota Lift. And a huge shout out to Eddie for introducing me to these guys. Everybody over there at Toyota Lift has been awesome to me. So this isn't like a knock against them. This is a knock against the price of Toyota forklift parts. But we're essentially looking at $700 worth of stuff here, which is absolutely insane. I mean, we're talking that. There's $700 worth of stuff right there. Let me show you guys what we got. We got our 2 side covers, which if you guys remember, the old ones are right there, all chewed up and beat up and useless. This booger is long gone. So instead of trying to fix that, we got some replacements here. I hope they're the right ones. I think that's that one. That's what this used to look like. Then, in deciding what to do with this top portion, I figured instead of trying to take every single thing off of here, especially, I mean, this top's welded on. I might cut this top off today just to like do it a little bit better than it was done. And I might trim it because currently right now, I mean, it's great if you're out in the sun, but you can't really see above you because you kind of need like that sight line right there. So I might trim it back, leave this bay open so you can actually see your load up above you. But now, in not wanting to take this entire thing apart, the dash apart and all that, I decided we're gonna keep this Toyota gray. So I also purchased some Toyota gray equipment enamel. Now granted, if you guys have ever used equipment enamel grade paint, like that stuff is hardy as crap. So I don't think it's gonna take a whole lot of prep to get this thing ready to be able to spray that enamel on. And then this lower section right here that you're never gonna see, I mean, well, you see it right now, but this section's gonna get turned gray, and then the rest will be the super cool purple color that we're gonna go with, which I'll show you we have right there. So once I got all the Toyota parts, I went over back to the paint store, and well, they apologized for not calling me back. Somebody had accidentally thrown away the Post-it note, so whatever, stuff happens. But then we started talking automotive grade paint, which is a whole new world to me. And if you guys haven't played in this world, like, it's crazy. There's a lot of stuff you gotta know, and it'll probably make sense to you guys now why I do like rattle can paint jobs, because this isn't even everything we need to get this paint job done. The main thing we need is a primer, and apparently you can't just use a direct to metal primer because we got Bondo there, so you need a sealer primer, but then there's like a special one that, depending on how you mix the activator and the thinner and the whatever, it becomes a primer, or it becomes a sealer primer, or it becomes a something else. I don't know. I was very, very overwhelmed. I've got a lot of spec sheets here on some primers and how to mix it. So you can see, like, you can make it into a high build primer, a regular build primer, a primer sealer, all using essentially the same stuff. It's just a matter of how much you put into it. Problem is they didn't have a quart of it. They only had a gallon, and the gallon was like $100-something difference than the quart. And there's just no way. Like, I'm already so much into this paint job that I'm not gonna like just continually overspend. So that shows up tomorrow. So we're not even gonna get a chance to prime this thing today, which kind of sucks. But again, like, I don't know what I'm doing with any of this stuff. Like, you gotta have a certain activator. So we got an activator here, but this activator only works with the clear coat, which we got our clear coat right here. And then we've got, we got a paint catalyst right there. So I started writing stuff on these things as I was purchasing them. This one goes for the primer once the actual primer shows up. Then we've got this one right here. This is a reducer that only works for the paint, so that goes for the paint. This thing only works for the primer. The amount of stuff you have to buy, and granted, maybe I got oversold, maybe like I could have got away with one, I don't know, but this isn't my world, so I'm just going off their recommendation. The one thing I'm excited about, and the one thing that's like keeping me in this fight here, is we got our Plum Crazy Purple, which, look at that color right there. Hopefully that shows up good. I know we're on a GoPro, but that color is sick. We should open this can. I'm curious, hold on, shake it up a little bit. I'm curious to see what this looks like in person. And what I'm worried about is, my original quote on the paint was like $600 for all the materials for the paint, primer, and clear coat. We ended up getting it down to about $300, which is still crazy to me, considering all we're doing is the orange section on there. We're in it this far, so this is happening. But what I worry about is, like, something's gonna go wrong in this mad scientist concoction mixture that I have to make, and I'm gonna get this thing painted, and all of a sudden, like, the paint's just gonna fall off. And then I wasted a lot of money, and then the amount of time it's gonna take to like redo this, I don't know. The other thing is, I feel like I'm gonna hurt the value of the Toyota forklift by not painting it Toyota orange, which is crazy, but I have a feeling like If I were to ever go sell this thing, which granted, I got it for a really good deal from a good friend of mine. I'm not the type that's gonna take a good deal and then go try to profit off of it from a friend. But let's say, you know, 10 years down the line, I don't need it anymore and we gotta sell it. Somebody's gonna be like, oh, purple? Nah, we need orange. Regardless, let's open this up. See what we got. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. That color is gnarly. So it's even got like a little metallic flake in it. Again, I know this is probably looking weird on a GoPro, and just looking on the back of the GoPro screen here, it looks more blue than it does purple. In person, this is like purple of purples, but it's already got that tiny little flake in it. And then I think I showed you guys at the paint shop, but let me pull it up again and show you guys like just how crazy we're gonna go with the flake here. And this is how Zach got me super excited about this. So look at that, guys. This thing is gonna be gaudy as gaudy comes, which is exactly what we wanna do with this. Well, the top is officially off here. Let's see if we can get it off. Come on, bugger. All right. So she's pretty heavy. I don't know what gauge that is. She's hard and it looks like it is galvanized. Don't quote me on that. It's gonna make welding get a little interesting, but I guess if we're just doing a couple tacks to put it back on, shouldn't be that bad. Obviously you don't want to breathe galvanized fumes. You can see this thing took damage to the back corner, which coincides with the broken plastic piece right here. I don't even want to know how many thousands of dollars that little piece probably is, or you probably got to buy the whole thing. But what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna essentially trim this back piece so it doesn't overhang way off the back anymore, because that's kind of unnecessary. And then we're gonna come in and we're gonna trim the front, which will again give us this sight line back that we didn't previously have. This stuff's probably gonna be a bear to cut because I can already see it's very hardened. I'm gonna keep coming in and cleaning up the cage here. As you can see, it looks like they at one point like duct taped, probably cardboard up to the roof to make the cover before they ended up welding that thing on. So there's just all kinds of old duct tape and stuff on here that we're gonna get off. We're gonna go around, pull all the handles and everything off. And again, I'm not gonna get too crazy. Like I don't feel like I need to get up in all of this area. This area is pretty well painted. So we're just gonna hit all the spots that really need it. Slowly but surely, guys, slowly but surely. Well, we've gotten her pretty well prepped here. Probably gonna end up taking this off, but we need to move the forklift right now closer to the door so we can set up our little ventilation system. Obviously, we need some propane to do that. Gonna be interesting here driving it with no seat, but let's get on. We're gonna back her up here. Whew, this is a strange feeling with no seat, let me tell you. All right, back we go. Let's not run over any of the super expensive panels we just bought. So this is where she's gonna live for a minute. Let's get this whole propane tank thing off of here. All right, that's pretty simple. Probably leave that strapped up until we get this fully ready to come off. Which, by the way, Toyota, great job on this whole invention. Instead of having to huck these things up there, just making it about as easy as it can to change a prop. You stay out the way there. Whew, smells great. Oh, jeez. All right, tank is off. You stay there. I feel like this whole thing should use a nice touch up. I could honestly probably paint all this in place. But other than that, she's pretty much ready. So we're gonna go gray, gray, this whole front section gray down there. We're gonna use like that little line right there where the two panels meet up. That'll be our brake. And then everything else is gonna end up being our purple with the flake. I'm gonna do a little bit of masking right now and get this all prepped. I think I'm gonna leave this section in place. I contemplated taking the whole seat base off and painting it off of the forklift, but I think it's just gonna make more sense just to do it right here. Still gotta pull off the bracket for the fire extinguisher, but we'll get all that done right now. So she's about as stripped down and as prepped as I'm gonna get her here. I called one little audible, which will be, instead of painting this little like fender right here purple, we're gonna do this gray, and it serves a couple of reasons. One is this whole piece will now tie in gray, even where the whole like ROPS ties into everything. The other is it's just gonna make things easier versus trying to get a full paint gun with like the little hopper on top up in these tight little areas. It's still gonna be tough with a spray can, but at least like we got a little better shot at it. Plus you're really only gonna see like this little ledge of it because all those body panels bolt up right here and kind of hide all this bracketry. They hide this whole section right here. So I'm gonna try and be obviously as careful as I can for no overspray, but we've got everything important masked off. I'm gonna come around these lights because these lights and everything are fine. Assuming this gray looks the same, this isn't like the faded version. But everything, the propane setup right there is all masked off. We're gonna just be careful and go ahead and spray the whole propane carrier. All right. Never comfortable wearing a respirator with a GoPro, but let's give it a shot here. Let's see what this gray looks like. Big fan of this paint here, like, whew, well done Toyota on the equipment enamel. This stuff goes on really easy. Like now I see why guys can just go buy the gray and the orange and make these things look really good with not a whole lot of prep. Not that easy to get down in there. Alrighty, y'all, I think this is about where we're gonna wrap up the video. All the gray is sprayed. We got the seat base done, everything overhead done. I mean, you can see it's got like just a nice hint of gloss to it, not too glossy. There is a little bit of caca right there still. That was like an epoxy that had spilt underneath the seat. Again, it's underneath the seat. Now, I tried chipping at it, it wasn't worth the time. So everything else though is essentially sprayed. I'm glad I decided to go this decision here and take all of this and make all of this gray instead of trying to fight getting some of that purple later. I was able just to kind of fog it in there with the spray can, wherever that is right there. Also, if you guys are ever wanting to paint anything gray, like this is your ticket right here. No joke, this is like the best spraying spray paint that I've used so far. And you guys know I've spray painted a lot of stuff, but that stuff is awesome. And hopefully it sticks well. I imagine like most people are spraying it over stuff that they're not prepping that well. So I bet that thing's like got some chemicals in it based on the giant skull and crossbones that say like this stuff's gonna stick. So we're gonna leave it like this overnight, let everything dry and cure, and then hopefully by tomorrow we should have our primer and we'd be able to get this whole thing primed, get everything prepped, and start spraying some plum crazy purple. Try saying that 5 times fast. I can't even say 5 times fast. Plum crazy purple, plum crazy purple, plum crazy purple, plum crazy purple, plum crazy purple. Got it. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're not subscribed already, please click the subscribe button now so you do not miss out on any future content. Don't forget to check out workforapparel.com because if there's anything you want in this life, you gotta be willing to work for it. Unless you want my LLY, because we are giving that away to you guys. Every $5 spent at workforapparel.com gets you 1 entry. So go get entered in to win my 2005 Silverado. You guys are the best. I'm out.
Damn. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.